White Beam, to me, is a very intriguing upset possibility. She should be 4, 5, 6 to 1.
How's it going, everybody? Geo Sette right back at you, past the wire. Covering the Phillies this weekend, and I will be off to Saratoga at the crack of dawn, early Saturday morning, spending the weekend at Saratoga. The Alabama Stakes, that's what I'm here for. Philly race that's got a world of history, literally going back to 1872. I did a lot of work on the race, and I think you'll find what I have to share to be very interesting, very compelling. But first, I need to use this platform to at least express my feeling in terms of what we all witnessed a couple weeks ago on Whitney Day. Since I'm covering the Phillies, it would be only right for me to share some sentiments and respect to the connections of, Maple Leaf Mel, Bill Parcells, August Dawn Farm, and of course the trainer, Melanie Giddens. The story is really, really heart-wrenching. First, it was extremely inspiring, knowing that Melanie overcame significant life challenges, stage 4 cancer, and then having this wonderful New York bred filly wins 5 consecutive races. New York bred, not headed, literally leading gate to wire in every one of her races, super fast, never was even in a photo, just unrelenting. And then to have such an amazing run from the outside post in the test a couple weeks ago, to be right there in front of the world, live on television, live at the track, everybody watching, and as our editor-in-chief John Seton said, to go from the absolute joy and fulfillment of winning that race, escalating her career for a 6th straight win, a few yards from the finish line, with the connections watching right there, and knowing Melanie's story, to witness that horse breaking down. And like he shared, and I agree, to go from the highest of highs in seconds, or a second, to the lowest of lows, an absolute tragedy. So it wouldn't be right for me to cover the Phillies in the Alabama without offering my, extended sentiments and prayers and hope and condolences to all the connections, and for us racing fans to move on from such a tragedy. It just shares with you and proves that tomorrow's never promised, not only with horses and animals, but with us in life. You just never know when your last moments will be there. Just a little perspective. Be back to go over my very detailed summary, breakdown, precise order of the wonderful Grade 1 Alabama Stakes from Saratoga. Be right back.
Cogburn, very interesting in Detroit, in my opinion. This is a horse that always showed a lot of potential. Exploded second time out, win by 4.
Here comes Cogburn, and Cogburn has his sights on Nobles in the final 16th of a mile.
There's a lot of turf in his pedigree, top and bottom.
It will be Cogburn on the outside, getting to the front.
The other thing that I like about Cogburn a lot is when I look at his thoroughgraph numbers. He's got some fast races. He's got a 1,
and Cogburn under Ricardo Santana Jr. wins the Troy.
I love in these 3-year-old races, again, those of you that watch the show and have been reading, you know, my columns and a lot of my handicapping things over the years know I like up and comers. I like betting horses to do things that, you know, maybe we can anticipate that some others can't, and that's how you sometimes beat a lot of favorites. I like program trading.
And program trading, resilient coming back on the inside. Program trading would not be denied.
White Barrio is very interesting to me for a couple of reasons. We heard from Blake, we know what the Vaughn thinks, okay? Second time Rick Dutrow. This time gets the jump from the catbird seat and turn it for home. White Barrio was going to be in the race, if not on the lead, in the race, and the one they got to go get.
They're at the top of the stretch in the Whitney, and White Barrio is the leader narrowly over Giant Game.
We've had Irad breezing him a bunch at Belmont before he came up here. I know Irad really likes him. You know, we think that he should improve off of his last race. And, you know, if he gets a clean trip, we're expecting him to run big.
Look at White Barrio and Arad Ortiz Jr. in a runaway. White Barrio wins by almost 6 lengths.
Rhyme schemes on the outside, the bottom horse for Norm Cassie. Horse didn't do a lot of running first time out at Churchill Downs, going 5/8 of a mile, and what I thought was a pretty fast race on not such a fast track that day. He was 6x9, didn't really do any running, but he only went off, 6-7-1, so he took some money, and that turned out to be a very live race. Bunch of horses come out of that race to win, which I like with 2-year-olds.
And they're off, and Woodcourt flies out of the gate, immediately joined by Market Street, and these two duel through the opening furlong. Rhyme Schemes gets a good spot, 2 off the pace in third.
But he can certainly clear, and Santana is aggressive, and I can see this horse going 2 for 2 with the blinkers, and I'm hoping that they bet Pletcher's horse and the other horse.
And now Rhyme Schemes makes the move at the top of the stretch. It's a good one too. Rhyme Schemes takes over, opens up 2 on Market Street in second. In the center of the track, it's Hall in third, but with a furlong left to go, Rhyme Schemes is long gone. A spectacular display from Rhyme Schemes, running home all alone in the Saratoga Special by 8 or 9 lengths.
Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
Tracking trips with Pick 6 King John Stetton. It's one of the best tools in horse racing for any level of player. It's your second set of eyes, spotting troubled trips, betting angles, track trends, horses to watch and favorites to fade, 10 figs, ticket structure, and more. At Tracking Trips, you're a friend with benefits. Not a member? You must hate winning money. Join Tracking Trips now. Visit PastTheWire.com and we'll see you in the winner's circle. Remember, nobody does it better.
Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie. Tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian.
Frankie Dettori, legend, world-class jockey, one of the best ever to sit in the saddle, ambassador to the sport of kings. Meet Frankie during his fanfare like never before, only on Past the Wire TV.
Okay, Geo Sette back at you. Past the Wire TV. The 2023 Alabama Stakes. Always excited about this very prestigious race that they run every year at Saratoga. I mean, talk about history. 1872. Not 1972, 1872. Of course, for 3-year-old fillies, some big-time winners the last few years. Last year with Nest. Year before that, the Great Malathat. Year before that, Swiss Skydiver. So there's always big fillies, big runs in this race. A little bit of history for you guys to set the platform for what I'm going to share with you when I go over the race, horse by horse, precise order. Todd Pletcher, he's got 3 in the race. He's won this race 4 times. Ken McPeak is a 2-time winner. Chad Brown has 2 in the race. He won this race in 2019 with Dunbar Road. So it's a beautiful field. Nice field. Not the best field in the world, but a real nice field. 10 horses. Now, the way I structured this, and I did a lot of work in film study, because with fillies, as with all big grade 1 races or even any graded stakes race, you have to have detailed film study. And with fillies, they develop. So how they ran as a juvenile as compared to where they are as a 3-year-old is essentially important. So a lot of these fillies I was very familiar with, but even for the ones I was familiar with, I had to go back and watch the races and sort of dig down deep. And of course, essentially important, as always, to the past performance numbers. So I'm well prepared. And the way I see this race, I'm breaking it down in a foundation of 3 ways. There's 10 horses in the field. I believe 5 are strong contenders on the win end. The next 4 would be, I call, interchangeable. Talent, they would have to run their career best with others to falter. And then there's one horse in the race that doesn't belong. He'll be my last choice. And, sometimes you never know. But I think they're entering that horse just to be in the race. He basically doesn't have any shot. But we're going to go over that. All right. So, 2023 Alabama Stakes Grade 1 by Geo Sette. The number 1 is Sacred Wish. Johnny V, a 4-time winner, up for George Weaver, who, by the way, is having a fabulous Saratoga meet. Most recently, 2nd in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Ran a big race. 2nd to Wet Paint, who we're going to go over, who's the number 2 horse. But Sacred Wish is improving as a 3-year-old filly. Only win was a maiden win at Oaklawn Park. One really clear, and as a 2-year-old, of course. I think the horse is on the upswing. I think the horse can move forward. The only blemish on her record is the Grade 2 Black Eyed Susan, which is run on the Friday before the Preakness. So I just put a line through that race. Other than that race, the horse is showing the willingness to run, is a real talent. And I consider the horse, and Johnny V, by the way, obviously he's won this race a number of times. He adds value to him. Last time out, all due respect to Manny Franco, who rode the horse fabulously over the track at Saratoga. I think the horse is going to be tactical early and is going to be in the mix probably as they're turning for home. I'm just not entirely sure that she's going to go the 1.25 miles. I'm just anticipating her getting caught in the latest stages of the race. Number 2 is Wet Paint. I mentioned the winner of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Over the soil at Saratoga, going 9 furlongs. Of course, this is 10 furlongs, 1.25 miles. makes it that much more challenging. Remember, you add a furlong, you're adding 220 yards. That's 2+ football fields. But wet paint, fabulous numbers. Flavry and Pratt up for Brad Cox. Probably, most likely, will be favored at post time. Not a 3 or 4 to 5 favorite, but somewhere in the area of 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 2 to 1. I don't know if you'll get anything more than that. Horse got a great turn of foot. Loves it wet. Coincidentally, with the wet paint name, she's not going to get it because it's going to be a gorgeous day at Saratoga on Saturday. I checked the forecast. But the horse really relishes in the slop. But good on a fast track as well. In good form. Has been working at Saratoga. Daughter of Blame. I trust that Brad Cox will have her fit and ready. Like I said, a contender, absolutely. Should take to the distance and should be flying in the stretch because that's her running style. And she basically comes every single time. Number 3 is Julia's Shining. This horse I'm very, very excited about. Compelled. Right off the bat, I'll say that this filly is very, very, very dangerous and a big win threat in this race. Louise Sayaz up for Todd Pletcher. Sayaz has been the only jockey on this horse since beginning her career as a juvenile. She won at Keeneland at first going. Then she went to Aqueduct in the slot, won the Grade 2 Damoiselle. If you watch the race, the horse really, really came on strong after having a tough start, game in the stretch. Then she laid off for a little while and came back in 23 as a 3-year-old filly. Ran at Tampa Bay. Now, that race, the Suncoast, I thought she was really good in the race. She came on late. Could have won, but maybe she just needed a race off the brief layoff. A 38 to 1 shot, Dreaming of Snow won, and if you remember, Wonder Wheel just missed 2. They basically all at the wire together, and Wonder Wheel ran some big races in her own way. So that was an upset. Tampa, maybe, she didn't take to the track entirely, but I knew the horse wanted more distance, and if she had more distance that day, she would have won. So then they run her at Keeneland again in the Ashland, the Grade 1 Ashland. She ran very well, a bit wide, but she responded when urged. She came on. This is a horse that's getting better. Challenge here, because that last race was April 7th. So she comes in off a pretty good layoff, April 7th, and now we're in the middle of August, so 4+ months. But training at Saratoga, I trust Todd Pletcher. Sayaz is going to ask this horse, and he's going to get a big run from her. Nice works over the Saratoga soil, being there for a number of months. 101 and 2 breezing, August 12th. Prior to that, August 5th, a minute and 3 breezing. Prior to that, late July, 101 breezing. The horse has been steady progressing, looks to be fresh and fit. She's a full sister of the champ Malafat, who I spoke about, who won this race in 2021. I think she's going to run very much like her sister. Daughter of Curling. I'm not worried about the distance. I think she's built for the distance. And when you watch this horse in replay, she's absolutely fabulous when she digs down deep. So Julia Shining, major threat. I'll tell you right now, she's going to be my top choice, but I'm going to elaborate a little later. I'll be back in just a minute to run the rest of the field down.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. everybody. Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets.
It is here, the big day, the day almost all of us in horse racing wait for, Breeders' Cup Saturday. It looks like we're going to see some really, really impressive races on Saturday. It starts with the filly and mare sprint. One of my stronger opinions on the card is Goodnight Olive to start things off. I think she gets a perfect trip.
Goodnight Olive, 6 in a row and a Breeders' Cup champion.
We've got Modern Games going in the Turf Mile for Godolphin. The Godolphin and Aidan O'Brien horses, we said on Past the Wire TV all week long on the backside, those two contingents stuck out from all the rest. Modern Games looking for a big race from him.
Modern Games storming down the center of the course. Modern Games, a two-time Breeders' Cup winner. You bet he is.
That is Rebels Romance, who in my humble opinion is one of Godolphin's better chances this year.
Rebels Romance is a very, very good looking Godolphin horse that can absolutely win this race. Rebels Romance is a must use.
Rebels Romance rolling on the outside. Warlock got it. Makes her bid down toward the inside. Rebels Romance down the center of the course. Has it close to home. Rebels Romance wins the turf over Stoney.
We got Flightline that they're putting in the best ever category. There's no question that the race he ran in the Pacific Classic is one of the best races we've seen any racehorse run ever.
It is Flightline. It is spine-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, Secretariat-like.
Okay, let's move on to number 4, Sabre Tough. Now, Sabre Tough, I'm not going to speak much about this horse because I did a hard look, but I really feel like this is the race outsider. This horse is my bet to run last, and I'll tell you why. Very experienced, 6 races as a juvenile. Only win is a maiden win. Ran in some nice Grade 1 races, but just didn't contend. The horse was at long odds. I like Raylu Gutierrez. I wish him well. And I also appreciated Dallas Stewart and his barn. But this Daughter of Cross Traffic really seems overmatched. Buyer speed rating wise and class wise. Even though the horse has raced in Grade 1s, just seems up against it. I'm going to toss and not use Sabre Tough, number 4. Number 5 is Fireline. Now, Fireline is an interesting horse. A nice filly, gray filly, very pretty. Daughter of Arrogate. Arrogate, of course, built for the distance. Chad Brown is the conditioner. Obviously, he won this race before, and his reputation at Saratoga. You got Javier Castellano up for Chad Brown. Some things to like about this horse, albeit lightly raced, making third start as a 3-year-old filly. I like that the horse has 2 consecutive solid works over the Saratoga soil, making her Saratoga debut. I think the horse will be a pace factor. I think she'll probably be second or third, if not have the lead early on. Is she built for the distance? Many are trying the distance, obviously, for the first time. I trust that being a Daughter of Arrogate, she will make the distance. Fitness should be there. Castellano's back up. Castellano won with this horse when she graduated at Aqueduct going a mile. I look at her as one of my 5 contenders. Number 6 is Chocolate Gelato. You guys like Chocolate Gelato? I actually like coconut, tiramisu, and chocolate. Anyway, Chocolate Gelato, interesting horse. Todd Pletcher, Jose Ortiz, who, by the way, has won this Alabama 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. $475,000 daughter of Practical Joke. Ran predominantly as a juvenile. 4 races as a juvenile, making her second start off a layoff as a 3-year-old. Some nice races. Particularly, I was interested in the Grade 1 Frisette at Aqueduct. She came on strong. She was wide. I liked her run. I knew she'd have a future from that point on. She did have a failed run at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Grade 1. Let's toss that race. That's the race that Wonder Wheel won, who I mentioned before. Comes back after what was how many months? 7-month layoff. Came back, ran evenly, was well bet, but hit the gate at the start. I like the way she's training. Works don't, they weren't blowout works, but I feel this horse, because of her races as a juvenile, showed me talent. I like talent and a willingness to run. Chocolate Gelato is a contender. Actually, I think she improves. I think she moves forward this race, and she's going to be my 3rd choice. Mark that down. When I give you my precise order, I'll go over it again. Number 7 is Gambling Girl. Now, Gambling Girl, I was sort of up and down on the fence with. Not one of my top 5 contenders, but part of that group that I called interchangeable, because the horse has talent. Horse has made some big runs, particularly in the Kentucky Oaks. She ran a wonderful race, ran a big buyer. She had some trouble, but Irad just missed at 13-1 over at Churchill Downs. Comes back in July at Saratoga, a little less than a month ago at the Coaching Club Oaks. Was 3rd to Sacred Wish and Wet Paint. I felt like the horse had the opportunity to win, but didn't fire. So I just have a sort of like a reservation of the distance. That's Gambling Girl, the 7. You get value with Irad up for Todd Pletcher, but I like Pletcher's other horse a little more. His other horses a little more. Number 8 is Ramdanized. Now, Ramdanized is from Chad Brown, daughter of Nyquist, $420,000 daughter of Nyquist. Has raced over Saratoga and raced well. I like her last, the mile in the Wilton, which opened the season at Saratoga. She went wire to wire. I see this talent, and Nyquist, Nyquist is a Derby winner as a daddy, so the daughter of Nyquist should perform and get better. She's got comparable buyers. I put her in that group, not part of my top 5 contenders, but in that group of the next 4 I spoke about, who, if she runs her career best, she could make a presence felt in the stretch. I see her on the lead early on. Question is, will she hang on? How fast would the fractions be? I think the fractions will be moderate to fast, and I think she's going to be challenged to hang on late. But if she runs her career best and others falter, maybe a superfecta threat, maybe a threat, but, can't kiss all the girls. I couldn't side with her in my top 5 as a contender, but certainly eligible to improve and to show a little more. I just question the distance here. Number 9 is Taxed. Now, Taxed has that one big race that was most noted, the Black-Eyed Susan Grade 2 at Pimlico, the Friday before the Preakness. Daughter of Collected. Nice gray-looking gray filly. I like those gray fillies. They have that appeal. But, up and down, sort of inconsistent. I watched a number of her races. Some days she just doesn't show up. And when you don't show up for work sometimes, I get concerned. So if she runs back to that Black-Eyed Susan, yeah, she could come hard in the stretch with a big-time close, but others are just more appealing. And again, Taxed is in that second grouping. Remember, my top 5, then that 4 horses, which are the 7, 8, 9, and 10. Gambling Girl, Randomize, the 10 who I'm going to go over, and Taxed, who, you know, eligible to improve, but I just couldn't be decisive with. Finally, the number 10, Defining Purpose. I gave this horse a good hard look. Very impressive winning her last on an off track at Indiana. Nice buyer. It was a grade 3 Indiana Oaks. Brian Hernandez, very dependable rider. He's back up for Ken McPeak, who won this race a couple of times. Ken McPeak won this Alabama with Swiss Skydiver, who you all know, and with Eskimo Kisses. Making her Saratoga debut, daughter of Cross Traffic. You know, when she won the Ashland at Keeneland, she shocked everybody at 20-1. She ran a big race. You know what? The respect is there. I just think, I don't know if she's going to move forward and make this 1.25 miles. So I put her in that second grouping. So there you have it. The Geo Sette Alabama 2023 Alabama Stakes. Let me give you my precise order and make some suggestions. All right, my precise order. Top choice, Julia Shining, the number 3. Second choice, Wet Paint, the number 2. Both of them should come with big, powerful runs in the stretch, especially if the fractions are moderate to fast. If they have good trips, they very likely be 1-2 at the finish. My third choice is number 6, Chocolate Gelato. For all the reasons I mentioned, I think the horse is up and coming. Could make the exacta, so I'm going to play a Julia Shining Chocolate Gelato exacta as well. Definitely use it in my triples and my superfectas. My fourth choice, Fireline, the number 5. Again, in my top 5 contenders. Wouldn't shock me if the horse, threatened to win or made my exacta a triple. But I'm going to safely put this horse in my superfecta and use in some of my triple gimmicks as well. My fifth choice, Sacred Wish. Now, Sacred Wish is sort of a wild card in this race. Johnny V, I trust. George Weaver has been red hot at Saratoga. I think this horse is game. He could better my rating. So my fifth choice, remember, my top 5 are contenders to win. But I think Sacred Wish, if she runs her very best, may last for a triple or superfecta. I wouldn't be shocked if the horse won the race, but I'd be surprised because I just find my top 3 much more appealing. After that, you got my grouping of the 4 horses, 7, 8, 9, and 10, Gambling Girl, Randomize, Defining Purpose, and Taxed. And the horse that should be seeing them all at the end is number 4, Sabre Tough. So there you have it. Let's make it a great weekend. Of course, I always appreciate your comments and feedback and what you share regarding my handicapping or thoughts about the race. Stay tuned. I will probably put some of my horses that are racing on the undercard of the Alabama in the comments. Check them out. And also, 2 weeks from today is the Travers. Now, we have a special show at Past the Wire TV. It's going to be myself and John Stetton. We are going to go over the undercard and the Travers Stakes. Collectively, you get both of us in one video. Don't miss it. So I want to thank you again for your viewership. After the Travers, of course, we may do something on the Pennsylvania Derby. And, of course, we have the big balloons. the 2023 Breeders' Cup Championship Friday and Saturday in early November. So I look forward to next time. You guys stay well. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America. Let's go make some money.
Does it better.